Alright. And yeah, I'll be, in about 20 minutes, I'll be diving into it. Okay, so now we need to go back to... I think the atrium to talk to, Hieronymus.
Patience! My nerves are frayed!
If the 40k folks ever have the Emperor come back, that's going to be pure comedy as he finds out they prayed to him like a god, which is the opposite of what he'd want. Yeah. Yep. There he is. That's who we need to talk to. Your request has been fulfilled. The cultist den in the shadow quarters has been cleared out. A grim smile brightens his features and he makes the sign of the Aquila. I hope that their suffering was commensurate with their deeds. Let's say 200 faction, 77 XP. Footfall has a new patron, Incendia Corda. Indeed, her loyal servants have already appointed confessional units whose duty is to patrol the station and invite its denizens to repent of their many crimes. As the Emperor is my witness, his pious aides have their work cut out for them on Footfall. For depravity, much like the Void, is immeasurable and omnipresent. But is that any reason not to try and conquer it? I only pray that the blessed Incendia does not find the burden of the offenses of Footfall's denizens so indelible as to cleanse the station in a fiery fount, even though it certainly deserves such a fate. Alright. Okay, so at this point, I think we're good to head back to the ship and do the Arbides mission, which I'm looking forward to, because we saw a little bit of that when we did the sponsored stream for them, but I haven't seen the whole thing. For the dock. There's a theory that if the Emperor dies, the Warp will manifest a new god of humanity equal in power to the Chaos Gods. What? Huh. I haven't heard that one. Alright, so I need a reminder. Where was... Let's see. No. 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 Not now. No. No. Mundus Nullius. Mundus Nullius. Yo, that's way up there. What the hell? That's so far away. Okay. Lord Captain, I keep receiving reports about malfunctions among various ship systems. This time we are dealing with inexplicable temperature fluctuations. Thermal control failures are observed not only in individual compartments, but even in the soldiers' protective equipment. Several crew members have suffered from burns and frostbite. The tech priests are performing the rites of machine spirit pacification and remain convinced that the issues are caused by the spirit's obstinacy and defiance. Their reports claim the incidents remained well within scope of expected performance parameters. Over the last few days, complaints about malfunctioning thermal controls have dwindled, but the crew members have started whispering that our vessel is haunted. The tech priest's assurances that only the machine spirit's tempers are to blame are doing nothing to dissuade these ridiculous rumors. And it's pulling me to the bridge for some reason. Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember seeing this in a trailer. Alright, so that's us. It's time for our bath. But suddenly... Blah! Ah! Freaking curse of the Pharaoh in my bathtub. That was a big epic. That was a big old bathtub. Abelard, Sarbak, how could you have let this happen? An assassination attempt. I mean, assassination is a strong word. Assassination attempt upon the rogue trader in his own chambers, right under the noses of your enforcers. A fierce growl rumbles deep in Abelard's throat. The Master-at-Arms radiates grim fury. Her eyes are dark, her lips pursed. With a practiced hand, she removes the maul from her belt and offers it to you. An unforgivable error. I accept full responsibility and ask for due punishment. Take the maul and beat her? Jesus. I want an explanation, not vain self-chastisement. Put that weapon away and report. Sarbak hesitates for a moment before putting the maul away. Understood, Lord Captain. Reporting. All adjacent decks have been isolated. We've begun our search for the culprit and have set up investigation headquarters on the officer's deck. The substance has been analyzed and confirmed to be blood containing traces of major mutations. While it poses no risk of infection to your lordship, the very presence of such genetic aberration on board is a serious threat to the safety of the ship and must be addressed promptly. Once word of this gets out, many among the crew will surely see it as a brazen challenge to your status as rogue trader. Could this have been an assassination attempt? Then they would have filled the bath with acid or poison instead. There are easier ways to kill someone than drowning them in blood, as foul as that blood may be. Cassia, I beg to differ. Were something of this sort to happen to me, my heart would surely stop. What genetic aberration? The... Excuse me. The heresy of mutation. Mutants are vicious beasts who sow only death and ruin. Yo, there's one like right over there. They are devoid of all humanity, and the vile blood that runs through their veins feeds their unclean thoughts and urges. Numerous accounts speak of entire colonies falling prey to bloody uprisings staged by these creatures, all because their governors were too squeamish to order genetic purges. Adira, you don't say! I wonder why somebody we don't consider human would and exterminate by the thousands would think to revolt. What a crazy mystery! Heinrichs, alas, the Imperium's enemies are not limited only to those outside its borders. Mutants can become a considerable threat, especially when given the chance to organize. Argenta, the heretics have revealed themselves and are eager to fight. Then fight we shall. Let the vessel be purged of their filth. What do you intend to do next? The heresy of mutation. Mutants of... Wait, what? What do you intend to do next? As one, every enforcer present gets on their knees. Lord Captain, this incident has cast a shadow on our honor. We only ask for one thing, a chance to absolve ourselves of our guilt. Allow me to head to the officer's deck at once so that I may lead the investigation personally. Abelard, Lord Captain, on a previous occasion, it was your intervention that resolved a matter that my own rigidity had only succeeded in making worse. With all due respect to Mr. Sarbak, perhaps you would benefit from your fresh perspective. You told Abelard that with your coming to power, the established procedures within the dynasty would change. Seneschal, do you think so little of me that you would rob me of a chance to defend my honor? I am curious to see the Master-at-Arms in action. I will preside over the investigation. Of course, Lord Captain. I will arrange for an area befitting your status to be prepared on the officer's deck. Okay. There's a bloodbath joke in there somewhere, but I don't know. Alright, officer's deck. Okay. Maybe that. If the navigator's in the group, she guaranteed gets turn 1 because she's a grand strategist. And then she can give it to Heinrich to get that turn 1 regen on everybody, which is really, really nice. It makes me comfy. I like how we've got like tea and crumpets and stuff. Is it Yo Costa or Joe Costa? Chat, do you think I pronounced her name with a Y or a J? Jocasta Sauerback. Sauerback barks at the officers gathered before you. His lordship, the rogue trader, has seen fit to honor us with his presence in order to monitor the course of the investigation. An F? Faux Costa? Continue. You are expected to perform your duties immaculately and report your every step to me. Should any of your actions bring shame to the enforcers, you will answer to me personally. Lord Captain, the 3 officers before you have been tasked with conducting the investigation. The first, Captain Klein, is a veteran with a record of quelled uprisings of mutant abominations in the colonies. Captain Givenry is young, but she has already preempted several mutinies among the ship's rabble. Lastly, there is Captain Hrotko. His interrogation skills deserve credit, and he knows how to instill fear and respect firmly in the minds of the riffraff. You see fear and respect in the enforcers' eyes. After all, not only must they prove themselves to the rogue trader today, but also to a true master of investigation. Oh, this is like I'm Batman. Yeah, okay, so my background that I picked was that I used to be an Arbites, and then I became a rogue trader. So they're like, oh shoot, our boss used to be Batman. We're gonna embarrass ourselves. What are your findings thus far? We have discovered a worker's corpse, mutilated and desiccated. We are still looking into the man's identity and position, but the chirurgeon's report has confirmed that among all the blood that was pumped into your bath chamber, the blood-carrying mutations was indeed his. The workers from the nearby decks have all been checked for genetic aberration, but the mutations identified are all within the norm for laboring masses. They are being rounded up for interrogation as we speak. Do you have any working theories? The mutants are plotting. Klein spits in disgust. Don't spit on my ship. They've been breeding like void rats, so they're getting cocky. Must have wanted to infect your lordship with their plague. Ginevri, it wasn't an attempt on the Lord Captain's life. It was a threat. The rabble are planning a revolt, so they're trying to terrorize us. Soon you will drown in blood. The insurgents pride themselves on such metaphors. Meanwhile, Captain Hrotko is convinced that it was the work of Voitvir's surviving cultists. However, I believe this to be a warning rather than a threat. What we need to establish is who is trying to warn us and of what. Hold on. Let's see. Creative says, hey Muck, loved BG3 and Divinity 2. Never got into Warhammer. I like fantasy more. Do you think Road Trader would still be enjoyable for someone like me? Sorry if it's a bad question. No, totally fine. Creative, totally fine. So, to give you, you are not the first to ask me that. And because of that, I actually have the answer in a short video form. If you've got a few minutes to spare, that right there is my answer to your question. And after you see that, if you've still got any questions, please feel free to come back and ask me. Continue. Interesting hypotheses, but I doubt it is that simple. Mistress Sarback, grant me access to the investigative files. I have my own thoughts on what is going on here. The Master-at-Arms nods coldly. Of course, Master Interrogator. Yeah, she's not happy about that, but she has to defer to him because he's in the Inquisition. Thank you so much. Sure. Even taking into account the neighboring decks only, that constitutes hundreds of people. How do you plan to question them all? Our interrogation techniques are broad and varied. However, nothing loosens the tongue like corporal punishment. Beatings, mutilations, torture, public executions. Oh my god. Sarback almost purrs as she lists ways of making people suffer. When combined with psychological pressure, such methods work wonders. An unfortunate necessity. Let us return to other matters. Indeed, Lord Captain. Most unfortunate, says the Master-at-Arms, a bloodthirsty smirk stealing across her face. What do you propose we investigate first? The body. Once we have ascertained the dead man's identity, we'll be able to locate his associates and narrow down the numbers of suspects. Captain Klein is in charge of examining the corpse. Yes, your lordship. I'm almost done with my report. As soon as it's ready, I will deliver it to you. Let us begin. While we wait for Klein to report back, please enjoy the refreshments that have been prepared for you, Lord Captain. Nom 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 nom. This guy's stomping up and down. Heinrich. Oh, this is the guy in charge of the firemen. A pair of enforcers with battered faces is escorting Infernus Master Heinrich Montag. His lip is busted, his knuckles are grazed and covered with blood, and there's a chewed up low stick between his teeth. It's like a cigarette. Continue. One of the enforcers drones nasally. We apprehended him while he was trying to break through to the detained rabble. Got into a scuffle, we barely managed to restrain the troublemaker. He demanded an audience with you, Mr. Sarbak. The Master-at-Arms nods and the enforcers release their prisoner. Heinrich adjusts his clothes and approaches confidently. What do your enforcers think they're doing, Jocasta? Why are you assaulting my people, denying them water like they're criminals? You've got teenagers and elderly folk here. They're all just ordinary workers. They've done nothing wrong. No, Heinrich, what do you think you're doing? Attacking my people, chastising me in front of the Lord Captain? Get out before I have you charged. Heinrich looks up at you. Lord Captain, I ask you please to protect your servants from this abuse. Explain yourselves. Looking at... Whoa! Wampa! Down, Bessie. The enforcers are reveling in their impunity, treating the crew like cattle, especially my clan. Many in their custody are dying of thirst or injuries. Dying of thirst? It's been like an hour. My sister and niece are there too. I don't expect them to be exempted from the investigation, but I'm begging you to put an end to these assaults and let my people have some food and water. That is what the procedure demands. Intimidation loosens tongues. Torment erodes the seditionary's will. The rabble are to know only awe and terror. The words of the ship's regulations ring out across the room. The Void take your procedures. These are not seditionaries. They serve the dynasty, just like you and I. Awareness 100%. And did any of them confess to anything useful? Nothing important or indeed worthy of your attention. You detect a slight hesitation before the reply. There is something you are not being told. I am interested in any and all statements, even the most outlandish ones. Outlandish ones. One of the Inferni was found to be missing his pass to the room housing the work log cogitator. Losing such a pass is a serious offense, but the scoundrel claims an enforcer took it from him. He could not specify the name and rank of the enforcer, but he did give a description. A man, tall, blonde hair. Obviously he is lying. He either lost it or sold it for a bottle of rotgut. Heinrich makes a note on his data slate. There are more convincing ways of exculpating oneself than making up some mysterious enforcer stealing passes. This incident should not be forgotten. It might be connected to the case. Have patience, Heinrich. As soon as the culprit is found, your people will be released. Heinrich raises his chin proudly. In that case, I request permission to join my family. So be it. Let him join his family. Thank you, Lord Captain. I hope you find the culprit before another 100 workers are forced to suffer the same undue punishment. I'm wondering how much time is passing between these. Enforcer Klein. Captain Klein snaps to attention. Identifying the victim has proven impossible. His face has been smashed in and body badly maimed. There's too many wounds to determine the exact cause of death, but presumably he died after the killer slit his throat. That's how they drained his blood. No external signs of mutation were found. In other words, we have nothing. Klein, this isn't a report, it's a declaration of our incompetence before the Lord Captain. You will keep digging around inside that corpse until you have produced some results. Awareness 100%. Study the enforcer's faces. Ginevri looks at Klein with sympathy. She clearly cares about him, but does not wish to trample on her comrade's honor with words of comfort. Hrotko regards Klein with a contemptuous smirk, while Klein scowls back at him. No external signs of mutation, you say? What about internal signs? Performing an autopsy was inadvisable due to the danger of contaminating the area with genetic aberration. You see a flash of genuine horror in Klein's eyes before his gaze turns glassy. Huh? You've seen that look in the eyes of other veterans. It's the expression of someone reliving painful memories that have left behind deep scars. They cannot hope to overcome such trauma on their own. They would need help or a partner or perhaps some strong emotional stimulus. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Coercion? So, okay, coercion, you insult the guy. And the other one is give him a Okay, the other one says work in pairs, which is like a nice thing. This one, the coercion, usually when you like succeed at a roll, you get bonus XP, so it often rewards you for doing these rolls. However, this is really mean. Turn away from Klein. It would seem I had an exaggerated opinion of this veteran's courage. He should get some rest. Let Hrotko take over his duties. Coercion test succeeded. Indeed, Klein, why don't you go take a break? Maybe it's time you considered asking for a transfer to a less demanding post. Your best years are behind you. You should make way for the younger generation. Klein's face turns a deep red. Shut your damn mouth, Hrotko. The things I've seen, the filth I've crushed. You want me to gut another one? You want to see its mutant blood on my hands? I'll show you blood. Well played, Lord Captain. It has been some time since I last saw this kind of fire in the old man's eyes. He's like, oh, I'm gonna cut him up. Klein is up to his elbows in blood. Dude, you could have washed your hands before you came back. Oh my god, you're gonna ruin my carpet. He is up to his elbows in blood, his eyes flaring defiantly. I've examined the filth inside and out. His innards are a genetic nightmare. It's a bag of corruption wrapped in human skin. Extra organs, scales, atrophied ingrown limbs. But that... atrophied ingrown limbs. He had, like, atrophied arms in his gut? But that's not what's important. The body was disfigured posthumously. They killed the mutant with surgical precision before opening his throat and draining the blood. It wasn't until after the actual murder that they crushed his head and tried to cover up his wounds. The wounds were so brutal, I almost missed his work tattoo. The victim was a pipe warden, and I found this in his throat. He presents a blood-stained raven feather. Lore Imperium test succeeded. A certain legend springs to your mind, one involving Saint Quirine, who was granted a portent of enemies hiding among the faithful. When Quirine prayed to the Emperor for a sign that might reveal the traitors, a raven's feather burst out of her mouth to inscribe the names of the conspirators. Only someone versed in the symbology of the Imperium could have left such a message. Remember Saint Quirine. Could this be a sign? Vile mutants do not make allusions to saints. This was someone versed in the creed. What tattoo? What do pipe wardens have to do with anything? The pipe wardens are a worker clan that services the ship's sewer systems. The tattoo indicates the worker's status and personnel number. This one was SP-24601, Senior Pipe Warden. For what purpose was the corpse mutilated? Someone wanted to hide the cause of death. What I fail to understand is why they would then leave the body out in the open instead of disposing it. Klein, I wish to gift you a glass of Amasec for your good work. You look like you need it. Klein accepts the glass and downs it instantly. Evidently, he is in no state to savor the bouquet and taste of the fine drink you've offered him. It is imperative we find whoever mutilated the body. I concur. Would you like to give us specific instructions, Lord Captain? One cannot disfigure a body like that and stay clean. Look for any blood-stained garments, rags, the like. She nods firmly. If the perpetrator was in a hurry to cover their tracks, they may not have had time to dispose of soiled clothing. I thank your lordship for wise counsel. What is the next step? We should run the victim's identification number through the Master Worklog Cogitator. If the machine spirit favors us, we will be able to narrow down the number of suspects. Genevri, this is your arena. Going a little overtime here. All right, so we're going until it lets us stop and save. This scene is longer than I anticipated, but I am liking it. Genevri approaches you, followed by a dignified woman in crimson robes. Allow me to introduce the esteemed tech priest Androveda Phi. She believes she has the right to obstruct the investigation and refuse to grant the enforcers access to the Master Cogitator. Tech priests usually have a reason. What is her reason? The tech priest lets out an indignant Beneric trill. I request that the laywoman's willful activities be halted. She intends to torment the machine spirit of the Master Worklog Cogitator Iota IIIB. The venerable spirit is ill and in no disposition to endure such abuse. What is the problem with the machine spirit? The spirit is old and quick to anger. It therefore calls for a sensitive approach, not a torturous intrusion by a brutish laywoman. Since the start of this watch, the spirit has been unwell, so we've been trying to soothe its woes by applying sacred unguents and sensing the great machine's boards. The dogma of data recuperative quarantine prohibits any disturbances to blessed machines found to be in such a state. What exactly does this data recuperative dogma prescribe? Let no profane hand touch the sacred machine stricken. Let the mechanism be shielded from all worldly troubles by a veil of righteous litany, and let its shrine be thricely honored till the malady is no more. Judging by Ginevra's expression, she would rather have her profane hands touch Andromeda Phi's neck. What? Dude, look at this line. The solution is quite simple. We cut off your hands and use them to commune with the machine spirit. Oh my god. You know what? Okay, well, I would say, again, I lean toward these because they give bonus experience. This one is also solid because we brought Pascal. Let's do this. Lay people may be prohibited from communing with the machine spirits, but you are not, esteemed tech priest. Ginevra will simply stand at your side and observe. Andromeda Phi shoots Ginevra a sidelong glance. Very well. I shall disturb the spirit, but I demand the laywoman show respect and do as she is told. Raising her hands high, Andromeda Phi wails, Omniscient preserve us! The Great Spirit was infected by a layperson. That is the culprit you should be searching for, not some pipe warden. Sacrilege! Registering a Category 3 act of sacrilege, resulting in a Category Epsilon Quadro transgressive scenario, requesting the inclusion of the offender in the registry of wanted entities for the purpose of expiative disposal. He's like, can we find this guy and throw him out an airlock? We've discovered that the cogitator's malfunctions began after an unauthorized attempt to access it was made. Someone deliberately angered the machine spirit in order to bury the work logs. Thankfully, the esteemed tech priest was able to appease this spirit and extract the information we needed. The victim's name was Orto. On the day he died, he was servicing valve 27B, which supplies water to the rogue trader's bedchamber. He also had a partner who has yet to appear for duty since the incident occurred. We have a suspect. One of the Inferni said he had his pass to the maintenance room taken away by an enforcer. Our villain. But how did they get past Ginevra's guards unnoticed? Sarback stares intently at Ginevra as she grows pale. We should find out if the shift change took place without incident. If the culprit truly is an enforcer, or is pretending to be one, he could have orchestrated a gap between the guard shifts. Did the murderer get to the cogitator too? Impossible. Since the start of the watch, this area has been used as the center of operations. No rabble could have slipped by unnoticed. Moreover, a common pipe warden wouldn't know how to commune with the machine spirit. The murderer had help. Who is the partner? That video was honestly super helpful. Nice! I'm glad you found it helpful. If you have any more questions that it didn't answer, you feel free to hit me up. Senior Pipe Warden Guidon, number SP26855. An 8th generation pipe warden, no registered infractions, excellent discipline, perfect work record. An exemplary servant of the Imperium. Master at Arms, how do you propose we find our new suspect? Before Sarback can respond, Hrotko cuts in. Your lordship, there was a man named Guidon among the rabble waiting to be interrogated. He immediately struck me as suspicious. Please allow me to question the man in your presence. Sarback narrows her eyes, but all she says is, bring him in. Now. End dialogue. Guidon? Senior Pipe Warden Guidon. Before you stands a gaunt man in work clothes. His face is swollen from bruises, and several of his fingers are broken and sticking out at odd angles. He stares vacantly into the distance with watery eyes. Start talking, you miserable wretch. You tried to kill the Lord Captain, didn't you? Hrotko grabs the worker by the lapels. Guidon's coat flies open, revealing crude occult symbols painted all over his body. What is this? Heretical brands? Cultist scum? Guidon yells, baring what remains of his teeth. Yes, it was me. I tried to put a curse on the Lord Captain. I killed my partner in a wicked ritual, rubbed elbows with them demons, consorted with them, all to carry out a dark plot and doom the Lord Captain for the glory of my almighty master. He bursts into a fit of hysterical theatrical cackling. This seems too easy. Did the guards, like, beat this man and force him to say this? Like, painted on tattoos? Not, like, carved in or anything, but painted on? They could have done that in 5 minutes. We have ourselves a model cultist here. There is a ritual, a curse, and a plot. He even consorted with them demons. How kind of him to confess to all of that immediately. His words, he's trying to paint them over with fake garish hues, but his abject terror carries with it too much black and gray. What does he hope to accomplish with this? He has admitted to everything. The vermin. I have insisted time and again that the assassination attempt was carried out by one of Wojtvir's surviving henchmen, and I was right. I guess we weren't so thorough in clearing them out as we thought. Hrotko casts a sharp look at Sarbak. Assess the Enforcer's reaction to the confession. Hrotko looks proud and self-important. Genevri's